Okay, I think we are recording. Let me make sure that it's getting audio. All right, cool. So, um, we're this is like the best I can do with the lighting, so hopefully it looks good. Today we're gonna talk about Sword Art Online, as you already know because you clicked on this video. Um, I have quite a few things to say about this. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna call this kind of like video series like discussions or rants or rant or something like that. I don't know really yet what I'm gonna call it. But anyways, let's just get down to it. And basically, I want to talk about how disappointed, I would say, is the word I'm looking for. This is, by the way, just unscripted and unfiltered and all that stuff. So sorry if I'm kind of stumbling over my words and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, I would say that Sword Art Online kind of disappoints me. Now, I know that there's a lot of like mixed reviews and opinions on Sword Art Online, but for the most part, it's pretty well received, I would say, by the community overall. Now, for me, it's definitely enjoyable to watch. The anime itself is like fun to watch, and I don't really feel like oh, I'm bored, like I have to get through this or whatever. I never really felt that watching the anime, and I should say that I am on season 3. I'm starting at the beginning of season 3 is where I'm currently at with it. Anyways, so I think that as far as season 1 and 2, by the way, disclaimer right now. If you guys haven't seen season 1, if you get or haven't seen the anime at all, now is your warning to click off the video because we're going to talk about spoilers and stuff like that. So, definitely, I don't think that many people would argue against this, but the first half of season 1 is the best. It is the absolute best. It's where the anime shines brightest, and that was like the formula, man. That was the best. It was so good. It was like kind of like, at the beginning when it's like the golden age, and kind of like how at the beginning of like when the Pokemon games, for example, came out and they were like brand new and it was like a new concept and everybody was like, oh my god, dude, this is amazing. And they were, everybody was freaking out. That to me was, that's how I looked at the first half of season 1 of Sword Art Online. And then this is where it hurts. They had to go and change the formula, essentially. Because after whatever it was, like episode 13, or I don't even remember, but basically after, Kirito kills Heathcliff and that game's over and all that stuff happens, then that was it. Because they removed the arguably the most exciting aspect of the show, which was that the characters and you could just die at any point. Like that was so important for the show because since you could die, that means, that like, oh my gosh, it's like every single time, like, like when Kirito, I think was his name, was killing Kirito, and he was like digging his fucking sword like into his chest, and he was like, you could see his like health bar like getting lower and lower and lower, and that was like oh my god, dude, that was the real stuff right there. But now it's like in ALO and even in Gun Gale, like sure, like in Gun Gale Online they had the thing with Death Gun of like oh, he's killing people in real life. But like, it wasn't that if you died in the game, then you died in real life, because you could just log out at any time and like protect yourself, or like, and they still had to like get to you. So it's just basically if the same thing, as if like someone just broke into your house and killed you. Like it's not really anything crazy. But in the original Sword Art Online, you were like, your real body was like, you know, it was not, you couldn't do anything about it. Like if you died in the game, that was it. You were done. So once they removed that aspect of it, it was just like, who cares? Like you die, like you're not afraid anymore. There's like that excitement was removed completely. And I would say that that's like my biggest gripe with Sword Art Online is that. Because if they had just stayed in Sword Art Online, it would have been fine. We would have been good, and I think that the show would be a lot better off for it. Now, to kind of play devil's advocate with myself, essentially, the thing that I could see being, and they mentioned this in the show, is like, oh, well, there's a time limit no matter what because, our bodies in the real world are like malnourished and like in the hospital beds and all this other stuff. So like eventually they would die. And I'm like, okay, yeah. But, there's all kinds of things that they could have done to kind of like get around that fact. And they didn't have to necessarily like keep the anime going for that long. Like I would have been okay if they made like one very good like full season, like I don't know, like at least like 24, 25 episodes, like that kind of length of a show, and then just kind of like stuck with that and kind of, because like in my opinion all good things must come to an end anyway. So if they left it at that, then in my opinion it would have been better, because then we would just have this awesome show that we could just always, you could rewatch it and go back to it, and for that amount of time it would be so good. And and then they could have had some happy ending thing. But anyways, this kind of like, we can kind of segue this into my second biggest gripe about the show in general, is definitely the character development. Now again, I have only watched SAO 1 and 2, so season 3 I'm currently watching. So if you guys are like, oh well, this and this happens in season 3 and like this will change your mind about this, great, but I haven't seen it yet. So this is just up to season 2, my what my opinion is right now. So the second biggest gripe I have is definitely the characters, man. Like the character development, because in the first half of the season 1, they have all these great characters, Asuna, Kirito, Liz, like Klein, Agil, Silica, even Yui. I think like some people don't like Yui. I personally think that she's a cool character, but they did like not really go the way that I think they should have with the character in the end of it. But I think that she had potential, and basically like at the end of it, or not at the end of it, but they just kind of like benched all those characters. Like sure, they're still kind of in there in the ALO arc of season 1, but they're kind of just off to the side, and its main focus is basically on Sugu, his cousin, I guess, is the technical term that what they are. But like you never see Asuna until like the end. You see like a scene or two with her when she's like stuck in like the birdcage thing or whatever, and then you see her like at the end, and like that's it. And then you like see Yui, and then Sugu is basically like the characters. Obviously, like, Kirito's always going to be there. That's a given. But that you never get to see like those characters as much and kind of like develop like their feelings for Kirito and all that other stuff, and that's just kind of thrown away as season 2. Then we have Sinone, and like great, I don't hate Sinone. She's a cool character, but again, it's like, come on, guys. We have all these other characters that are so cool, and you're just throwing them away on the sideline. And, it's like, at least if you're going to do that kind of thing, make it like a side story, or make it, something separate from the main characters, and like, at least give us the oh gosh, okay, sorry, at least give us, like the main character development and stuff like that, because especially like Klein and Agil and even Liz and Silica, you don't get to see like hardly any of them, barely. It's like every single time you see a scene with them, it's like they're being their normal selves, and you're like, oh man, if only we could have more of this. That's kind of like the feeling that I get, and that's why I'm saying that like it disappoints me. So so those are the biggest two gripes with it, and honestly, I think it's mainly for those reasons that the show disappoints me. Now, I would say, if I can remember correctly, probably it starts when season 2 is when also Kirito and his character kind of falls off a little bit for me. And the reason for that being is basically that in season 1, season 2, he's like cool and he cares, he's like, he doesn't want people to die, and like he's trying to save Asuna in season 1, and he wants to, like he cares about people more, I guess you could say. And he's like he saves Silica, and like he's like, okay, we got to catch the bad guys, and you know all this like stuff. And that was kind of like, I was like, okay, this like guy's a really cool main character. And then in season 2, it's kind of like he starts, doing the thing where he's like, all right, I want to see how this technology works, and then like I want to, like become the overseer of the seed thing that what's his name? I'm just gonna say Heathcliff because I forgot his real name that he gave me. And like it starts to change his focus from like of people and like his relationships with his friends and stuff like that, to just like, oh well, I like to play video games, and I just want to know like about this technology stuff. And then like, when stuff goes down with Sino, and stuff like that, he does like help her and all that other stuff. And he does still, like care. It's not like he just flipped completely. But like I was saying, it's mainly the plot line that is because of this, of where he kind of just is less focused on that sort of stuff. And I understand that it's an action anime, and it's not like a slice of life like romantic like thing, of like that's what it's about. I know that that's not the main focus, but you can totally have that on the sideline and still kind of like, just like in season 1, because that's how it was in the first half of season 1. And at the end of season 1, it was like, still kind of there but not as much. But that's how they had it in season 1. So they did it before with the action packed stuff, so they can still do it. It's not, they already have it there. But anyways, it's a big part of it is that the main thing, once they couldn't die anymore, that was really bad. Yeah, it just went downhill from there. But overall, like I said, it's entertaining, and I can't argue that. But I just disappointed because it had the potential to be fantastic, so good, amazing. I think that like a good comparison, in my opinion, that you can kind of give it to is something like Full Metal Alchemist. Because there's like so much of like the character relationships with each other and like the bonding, and they still have plenty of action, plenty of action, and they did it well. They did it so well, doing both. So yeah, it just kind of sucks. But yeah, that's pretty much this video's already getting a little bit long, so I'm gonna, wrap it up here, but that's pretty much my rant or, discussion, whatever, about Sword Art Online. But I'm looking forward to seeing how the third season goes, and I'll probably like post something else like this if season 3 completely changes my outlook on it. So I'm hoping that season 3 can redeem it for me. I really do. But if not, I mean, hey, at least we still have the Aincrad arc, so that that was good. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of this kind of like just chatting discussion rant sort of thing. I have like a couple other ideas of stuff that I could do it for, but I kind of want to get your guys' feedback and all that. So leave a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. All that good YouTuber stuff. Subscribe and ring that bell. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, yeah. We're gonna try to. I'm trying to be a lot more active on the YouTube channel. So yeah, that's why I would appreciate your guys' feedback. Anyways, I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for your time, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.